Described as one of the most accomplished and influential writers of the 20th century, Shirley Jackson showcases her skill in the short story The Lottery. First published in 1948 in The New Yorker, the fictional story describes the tradition of a small town which participates in an annual lottery. The prize the lottery winner will receive remains a mystery, although it seems to be a casual prize no one is too keen on winning or losing. Yet at the end of the story, it becomes clear this is not your typical lottery. The winner gets stoned to death by the other villagers. There's a stark contrast between the relaxed and lighthearted tone with which the story is told and the depiction of brutal violence described. Shirley Jackson uses this contrast to warn humans about the danger of casually conforming to the majority. From the beginning, Jackson describes the annual tradition of the lottery with great casualty. She sets the scene as being the morning of June 27th in a village blossoming with plants and warm, clear weather. The routine-like nature of the day is almost overemphasized as Jackson makes a point to show that the lottery occurring today is nothing more than an obstacle the villagers must get through in hopes that they will, quote, get home for noon dinner. The fact that the villagers go through the motions of this event with neither enthusiasm nor apathy, rather disinterest, causes the reader to question what the lottery winner will receive. This is further emphasized when Mr. Summers says, "Guess we better get started, get this over with so as we can go back to work."
Well now, guess we better get started, get this over with so as we can go back to work.
This begins to showcase the passivity the villagers have taken when it comes to partaking in this annual tradition. The villagers are portrayed by Jackson to have no strong emotions correlated with the event, yet despite not seeming to like the lottery, no one has gotten rid of it nor stopped the tradition in any way. Along with the lost enthusiasm for the lottery, it becomes clear that the tradition of the lottery is loosely followed, with few aspects remaining authentic. In fact, Jackson's use of the word lottery, a word which typically carries a positive, eager connotation, seems to be an intentional use of misleading diction as a way to make the ending of the story all the more surprising. This further emphasizes the lack of care the villagers have in regard to the annual tradition, even down to what it is referred to as. The evidence for this is clear when Jackson describes that the, quote, original paraphernalia for the lottery has been lost long ago. Jackson uses this description to emphasize to the reader that the tradition is not one that has a memorable history. In fact, it seems to have no remarkable purpose at all. Jackson describes a black wooden box which carries slips of paper for the lottery, and then shares that the original tradition would have used wooden chips instead of paper ones. This aspect alone works to instill the idea that many authentic aspects of the lottery have been lost, except for the apparent outcome. Jackson makes this especially clear when she explains, quote, although the villagers have forgotten the ritual and lost the original black box, they still remembered to use stones. Villagers do not put any value into the history of the lottery, but still value the use of violence as an outcome for the lottery. Jackson's repeated use of declarative sentences to describe how the tradition is played out shows there is little emotion in Jackson's writing beyond a casual description of brutal things occurring around the characters in her story. Despite the harsh outcome of the lottery, no one seems to be questioning why it must occur. At the beginning of the story, the children are seen collecting stones while they discuss the past school year, not questioning why the stones must be collected. The men in the village gather in the town square and discuss, quote, planting and rain, tractors and taxes. The women gossip amongst one another whilst waiting for the lottery to begin. Between those groups of people, no one is seen protesting or resisting the tradition, although it is apparent they all know the outcome. Despite the lack of outroar against the lottery, there is still nervous tension described as the villagers draw slips of paper from the black box. It causes the reader to question why no one defies the lottery or questions the majority. This testament remains true until the winner of the lottery is selected, Tessie Hutchinson. Upon being the random winner of this heinous act, she exclaims, quote, "It isn't fair," just as she is getting stoned to death. This exists in stark contrast to the mood of the rest of the story. All along, peaceful scenery, a casual tone, and a description of a celebration leads the reader to believe something positive is happening, when in reality the story culminates with a violent act, while the villagers remain casual. The story is a testament to the risk of your own confirmation. There was stark contrast between the relaxed and lighthearted tone with which the story is told and In the depiction of a brutal violence described, Shirley Jackson is able to warn humans about the danger of casually conforming to the majority.